Paramat Makije. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti Om. Om Shri Sashi Mahaprabhu Ki Jai Paramatma Ki Jai. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti Om. Om Mani Padme Hum. 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 Om Mani Padme Hum.
Good morning. Welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living Morristown. I am Reverend Janice Billera. It is my privilege and my joy to be the guest speaker today so that Reverend Frankie can enjoy the rest of her vacation. I am joined this morning by Reverend Volk, who will be providing our musical inspiration, and our assisting practitioner is licensed practitioner Theo Tilton, who will not only be lifting us up in consciousness, but he is also our technology god today. And he is assisted by another technology guru, Michael Malik, who is also in the house today. So thank you for keeping us connected, and thank you all for connecting from wherever you are. So we are in the second week of the October series, Cosmic Connections. Theo spoke last week about the divine design of the cosmos and how it connects us all. Ernest Holmes refers to it as the divine intelligence that is back of all things. And quantum physics is now even able to prove that we are energetically connected to all things. We seek connection as human beings because we are divine beings, inseparable from God. When we feel disconnected, it is only because we have created barriers, whether tangible or intangible. Barriers that separate us instead of uniting us. Today we will explore how to release these barriers that separate us from feeling connected. The first thing that we can do is take a deep breath. Connect with the very life force that breathes you. Do that now. Take a deep breath. And open your heart to the luminous love light of the One. Take us there, Reverend.
I open myself in sweet surrender to the luminous love light of the One. I open myself in sweet surrender to the luminous love light of the one. I'm opening, I'm opening, I'm opening, I'm opening. I open myself in sweet surrender to the luminous love light of the one. I open myself in sweet surrender to the luminous love light of the one. I'm opening, I'm opening, I'm opening, I'm opening. I open myself in sweet surrender to the luminous love light of the one. I open myself in sweet surrender to the luminous love light of the one. I'm opening, I'm opening, I'm opening, I'm opening, I'm opening, I'm opening, I'm opening.
Thank you, Rich. So, once again, welcome to today's Sunday service. My name is Theo Tilton. I'm a licensed practitioner here at the Center for Spiritual Living in Morristown. And welcome. If you are following us on Facebook Live, you can create a watch party. You can use those little bubbles and hearts and thumbs up and smiley faces and all kinds of stuff to let us know that you're engaging and also interact with each other. So if you have anything that you'd like to say, comment, something that you're getting out of the service, just leave it in the comment section. We love reading that, and then we'll respond to you as well. Today we are not on YouTube Live, but we will be taking this download and putting it onto YouTube. So for those of you that follow us on YouTube, it will become available sometime later this week. And on our website, you can go to cslmorristown.org to get more information about the center if you're a brand new viewer. And for those of you that have loved these services and you truly want to just give back, there is a way to give through our website. That is cslmorristown.org/give. And that it gives you the ability to use our PayPal payment engine to send us a donation. And so with that, I'm going to do an opening treatment for today's service. And so wherever you are, if you happen to be driving and watching, don't close your eyes, but just be in the presence of what it is that's being spoken here. I invite you to close your eyes for those of you not driving. Take a deep breath right into that heart space and feel that centering power of the breath. The breath is such a reminder of life, that there is something breathing us. There's an energy, a presence that is just filled with love, light, life. It is right here, it is right now, it is in the reach of everywhere, through the internet, everybody listening. It is the same for all, animate or inanimate. This life is God's life. This life is universal spirit. This life is omnipresent. It is all-powerful, all-knowing. And from that wisdom, that place of wisdom, it delivers, it channels through us. The word that is being spoken right now is just, I'm a vessel of the word coming through me as me. And so knowing that today's message is whole and complete and perfect, just as it is being listened to, and every single word that is listened to is being delivered to potentially thousands of people all over the planet through the use of technology. This connectedness that is just so, it is a physical manifestation of the real connectedness that we are at the energetic level. And so I know that everything that is spoken is in divine right order and in perfection. And inside of the listening of those words, Whatever message is to be received is received with glory and love and joyousness and impactfulness to the planet. So I'm so grateful for this community, knowing that this community is growing and expanding its reach out through the internet. We're so grateful. We're so grateful for this teaching. We're so grateful for this knowingness of truth. We're so grateful for this connection. And I release it now in that gratitude. I surrender this word over to a living, loving law that simply says yes and does not return void. It returns everything that has been spoken to. And all of us together say, and so it is.
Oh, so it is. Thank you, Theo, for connecting us. And let's allow that connection to take us even deeper. Please join me for a guided meditation to connect with Spirit within and with all things, to connect with the still small voice of Spirit that is within.
I've never been without, I've never stood in lack. It's only been my thoughts that somehow held me back. It's that still small voice within me that wants to have its say. I close my eyes and listen and let God have its way. I stand before the Holy One. When I look into your eyes, I'm reminded of my greatness, of God's complete supply. You mirror what I need to learn. You mirror what I am. You are that loving presence. And now I understand. It's in the children's faces, leaves born upon the wind. It's in the gentle traces of loving fingers on your skin. It's the trials and the triumphs, the losses and the wins. It's everything I've ever known. It's all that God has been.
I invite you to take a deep breath, to close your eyes if you're comfortable doing so, if you're not driving, if you haven't already done so. And allow the breath to carry your awareness within, connecting to Spirit, the divinity that is within us all. Finding your own natural rhythm of breath and just relaxing and surrendering and dissolving into this moment. Being present, being here right now. Brene Brown said, spirituality is recognizing and celebrating that we are all inextricably connected to each other by a power greater than ourselves. And that our connection to that power and to one another is grounded in love and compassion. So taking another deep breath, connect with the love and compassion that is an attribute of your wholeness. And let that love light begin to radiate out from your heart. As you connect with that love, with that light, with Spirit within, let it move through you, radiating out from you and connecting you. Connecting you with all that is around you. Connecting you with all those that you love. They may be with you right now, or you may be thinking about them, your family, your spiritual community. Each one who is connecting here today, feel the divine love that connects you all. And continue to allow that loving light to radiate out. Rumi said, beyond the idea of right doing and wrong doing, there is a feel. I'll meet you there. Let us connect to that field. And in that field, I invite you to connect with those that you may even have challenges or conflicts with. Those whose ideas of right doing and wrong doing may be different than yours, but in this field there is no longer any idea of right and wrong. It is where we connect in the light. So feel yourself connecting with all things, knowing that the light is what uplifts all things, all people, all ideas. And continue to radiate that love light to all beings everywhere. And begin to feel it coming back to you, reflecting back to you. It is all energy. It is all light, and energy cannot be destroyed. It just changes forms. Allow your form to be filled with this loving light, connecting you to the highest version of yourself, to the divine blueprint that is held in the mind of God. Recognize and celebrate that we are all inextricably connected to each other by a power greater than all of us. And see this one power. Today, let's call it love. See this love reflecting in all faces and all beings.
It's in the children's faces, leaves borne upon the wind. It's in the gentle traces of loving fingers on your skin. It's the trials and the triumphs, the losses and the wins. It's everything I've ever known, all that God has been. Amen. 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 Amen.
Amen. Bring yourself back to this time and this place. Connected, connected, connected. Connection. You know when you feel it, right? And you know when you don't. Because it is our natural way of being. It is our natural way of being connected to all things. So you know when you feel it. You feel alive, right? You feel passionate. You feel safe. You feel natural. You feel comfortable, right? Think about it. Think about when you feel connected. How does that feel for you? And you know sometimes even where you feel that, right? A lot of people feel connected in nature, so natural to be connected in nature. We feel connected in meditation. We feel connected when we are in the present moment. We feel connected with the people that we love and feel comfortable with, right? We feel connected in familiar settings and familiar environments. You can all relate to that, right? And you also know when you don't feel connected. When you maybe feel unsafe, or that you can't be yourself, or that you don't belong, or that you have lost your passion, or your motivation, or your aliveness. You know that too. You know that too. But have you ever considered that recognizing the feeling of disconnection is actually your internal guidance system telling you that you are off course? Because it is our natural state to be connected, because we are inextricably connected. So just like the GPS in your car tells you that you're off course, turn back, I'm recalculating, right? The feeling of disconnection lets you know that you've turned away from the direction your higher self is guiding you to. Because we are naturally wired for connection. Because we are energetically always connected to a power greater than ourselves and therefore with each other. So, if we are inseparable from God, and that is an established principle, not just in New Thought and Science of Mind, but also now proven by science, then why do we feel disconnected? And how do we go off course? Our ego mind might tell us that it's because we're with the wrong people, right? That we're in the wrong place, that bad things are happening, and that's why we're disconnected. But if we are inextricably connected, then what happens in our outer environment cannot disconnect us. Only what we think about what is happening in our outer environment can make us feel disconnected. And it is never, ever that God has turned away from us. Spirit cannot disconnect. It is because we have turned our conscious awareness away from God, away from love, away from light. And sometimes it feels like that happens in our darkest moments when we need the light the most. We may think, where is God now? Where is God when I need love and light the most? Well, God is always right where you are. Wherever you are, whoever you are, you have just turned away. And nature reflects this idea back to us. The winter solstice, which we are approaching, is the darkest night of the year. And it is not because the source of light is farthest away. It is because the earth has turned away from the sun. In our darkest hours, we have turned away from God, from the light itself. So it's easy for me to stand here and say, so just turn back toward the light. And then my talk would be over and we could all go home. But in the construct of reality that we are living in, there are so many distractions. There's just so much to do. We have all these conditions in our mind. We have our habitual thinking and actions. We have the effects of our collective consciousness to deal with. And now there's a pandemic that's been around for 7 months. It is hard not to be distracted by the chaos and the challenges and the constant changes. So many people see and feel this time on the planet as a time of disconnection. Yet really, it is an opportunity to connect in new ways and to reconnect to our wholeness and our oneness. If we are always and inexplicably connected, then outside conditions cannot disconnect us unless we allow it to. We allow it by allowing our personality to be the dominant factor in our relationship with God and with others. Our personality is made up of our beliefs, our stories, our conditioning, and our personality becomes our personal reality. And we end up with over 7 billion personal realities competing with each other. So of course we don't feel our oneness because we don't get there through our personality. We get there through the attributes of wholeness. So there's a spiritual principle and a guiding promise that I would like to share with you today. It's one that our ego mind rejects and resists. I know mine did and mine still does. So I have made this a principle that I live by now, as difficult as it is sometimes. And here it is. Nothing and no one is against you. Everything that happens is a movement toward our wholeness. Everything that happens is an opportunity to retrieve the attributes of wholeness that we have separated from in consciousness, like love and compassion. So, the suggestion that follows in order to live this way is to love everyone and everything. To have compassion for everyone. And this is where the ego mind starts coming in. Everyone. And I know that it starts to resist this, because what if our personal reality completely differs from someone else's personal reality? What if I disagree with them or they disagree with me? I'm supposed to love and have compassion for people and things that I'm in conflict with those who are my adversaries? And the quick answer is yes. But here's another part of that yes. It's not to do this through spiritual bypass. What is a spiritual bypass? Well, it was first introduced by John Welwood, who was a Buddhist teacher and psychotherapist in the early 1980s. A spiritual bypass is a tendency to use spiritual ideas and practices to sidestep or avoid facing unresolved emotional issues, psychological wounds, and unfinished developmental tasks. So please don't just slap a bumper sticker on your consciousness that reads, "It's all good, we're all one, I love everyone," and move on while still feeling unresolved and disconnected. Now, sure, it's a higher vibration to be positive, to remember that every situation is an opportunity for our consciousness to evolve, for our fragmented parts to heal, for us to embrace conflict and create peace. But it is most important to have an authentic process to get there. To have an authentic process, to allow a process to unfold, to be present with it, to not resist it, to not protect or project. This means being in the experience, whether it's conflict, chaos, or challenges, with the intention to find the peace that is at the center. So you may also be thinking, well, how can both be true? No one is against me, and I see people as adversaries. One is the ultimate truth of our being, and the other is our human experience. So if we're saying that the ultimate truth is that nothing and no one is against you, then, is it possible that we are creating our adversaries or our experiences of opposition, challenges, and conflicts in our human experience? Again, the quick answer is yes. We actually do a pretty good job of creating situations and people that we think of as against us. And the moment we think that, we create separation. We think, how can we connect with those who do not agree with me, who go against what I believe? We may think of our neighbors, our coworkers, even our children's actions, or the actions of our government, even life itself, as being against us. Or perhaps you're thinking, oh, that's not me. I have no enemies, no adversaries. I love everyone. I hope that's true. But remember, we can make an enemy out of a situation, out of our body, out of our disease, out of our depression, out of our job, out of our loneliness. So a way to sense if you are feeling that something or someone is against you, that you feel disconnected, that you feel separate, you may even feel that you want to isolate and separate yourself if you are feeling that something or someone is against you. Another way to know that you are feeling separate because you think someone and something is against you is you feel protective. Your first inclination is to be in control of the situation, or to be right and make the other person wrong. These are some other signposts of separation and disconnection because you feel that something or someone is against you. And none of this is wrong. Signposts, remember, are there to tell us that we are off track, that we are not in the natural flow of the energy that connects us all. So it's great to know what they are so we can pay attention and get back on track. So some of these other signposts are that you feel unsafe, that you feel defensive or adversarial, that you experience lack, that you are reactionary or judgmental. Now, I know nobody out there feels any of these things, right? Maybe just sometimes. That you go into victim mode, that you find yourself complaining or criticizing others or yourself, that there is blame and retribution, that you experience worry and anxiety, that you resist change. Confession, I feel all of these things at various times, and I try to be so aware of when I do, so I know, hey, I'm disconnected from the energy that connects us all. Okay? I notice it when I feel disconnected from joy or from passion or from compassion. Because when we do any of these things, we are protecting ourselves from whatever is happening in our life or what we are afraid might happen. And remember the guiding promise, nothing and no one is against you. Life is only against what you are not. Life is only against what you are not. Interpersonal difficulties, turmoil, lack, or misfortunes are symptomatic of being who you are not, instead of being who you truly are, a unique, whole, and perfect expression of God. You are here to connect, embrace, and serve the divine, not to separate, defend, protect, and serve your self-concept, your human beliefs, and your stories. When you release your real self, that's capital R, capital S, it is impossible to feel diminished. When you are lost, however, in what you have or what you don't have, or being who you are not, something or someone will appear to be against you. But the situation or person is not against you. It is a mirror unto your own disconnection from your essence. It is against your confusion or against your incongruence, the things that you mistake for yourself. We are not our stories or beliefs or our ideas of lack. We have inner resources that our soul constantly provides to us, and we are being pushed to the edge by what may appear to be conflict. Only so that we can call upon these inner resources and become who we truly are. Also, loving everyone and everything does not necessarily mean that you will like what is happening or that it magically becomes nice. It means accepting and valuing the person or the situation for mirroring to you where you are not connected to who you truly are. And I know, because I've done this enough in my life, and I'm sure you have too, that it's much easier to see later how valuable a person or a situation was in our growth than when we're actually having the growing pains. There is so much happening on the planet right now. It's accelerated, it's dynamic, and it's changing constantly, and it may feel like one giant growing pain. It is also a huge opportunity to practice this guiding promise that nothing and no one is against me, that it is a movement toward my wholeness. It's a huge opportunity to practice love and compassion toward ourselves and others, to remember that in order to feel inextricable connection, it must be grounded in love and compassion. It will not be grounded in our personal reality, in our personality, that is in conflict most of the time, not just with others, but also with ourselves. And on top of everything else that's going on, we have a national election coming up. And we may have strong opinions about that. I know I do. There may be many situations where we may have strong opinions. And this is not to say that you should not or will not have them. When it is appropriate, by all means, speak what is true for you. Being cognizant not to make another wrong in order for you to be right. Our personality loves to do that. And when we do that, it instantly separates us. When we become attached to what we think is right and do not allow another to have their opinion or their perspective, we actually create a bigger gap. When we allow all opinions and feelings to be expressed, we begin to reconnect, even if we disagree. When we allow ourselves to be trapped in our personal reality, where we cannot allow any other perspective but our own narrow one, we cannot access the infinite possibilities of the greater reality that is here to bring about what is highest and best for all. So instead of seeing the situation or the person as against us, instead of cursing it, hiding from it, arguing with it, separating ourselves from it, we can bless it. We can bless it as a movement toward our wholeness, as revealing an attribute of our wholeness that is waiting for us to claim it. To bless someone or something is to endow that person or thing with the capacity to be a source of good in your life. So no matter what is happening, we do not give it the power to be against us when we bless it. We are affirming that what we are calling an adversary or a challenge is simply a mirror to the place inside ourselves where we are not connected to God, where we have turned away and allowed ourselves to be distracted. Blessing your adversaries and challenges helps you dismantle the belief that anyone is against you, that anything can come between you and your highest good. Blessing your adversaries is not taking the high road of righteousness. Oh, I'm just going to bless them. They can't help it. It is an expression of a faculty of your faith. It places you and all concerned under the mantle of God. Your blessing is an affirmation that all things are working together for good. By blessing someone or the situation, you are giving it the meaning that it is for good for all concerned. And then, here comes the even more challenging part. You've gotten to the point, you've blessed the situation, you've blessed the person. Then, accept whatever happens next. Because whatever happens next is what is. And we can't always see the divine design and the cosmic orchestration that is bringing about the highest good for all. It may not be happening yet. We accept what is, because resistance is futile and disconnects us from the flow of life. Non-resistance is fertile and brings us into communion with the divine flow.